right, let me bring in tonight's snowbound party panel, but they made it. Kirsten Hagelin is here, former Miss America, host of the Sonder podcast. Michael Malice is here, an Observer columnist, and he's wearing waders. He got through waist-high snow earlier this afternoon. Waders with a D. He's not wearing restaurant servers. Andy Levy also here, co-host of Red Eye on the Fox News Channel.
I'm wearing waiters.
Sure, which is so weird. It's a plexiglass table, yet I can see them clearly.
Yep.
All right, so the battle over healthcare has helped fuel the current partisan bickering that's dominating D.C. And if you need any more proof that the nation is drifting further to the left and right, just listen to this. In the last year, membership in the nation's largest socialist organization, the Democratic Socialists of America, has reportedly tripled. And we're told it currently only has 19,000 dues-paying members. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's the most the group has had since they formed in 1982, and it's continuing to grow. So what's behind it, Kirsten? I will start with you. So what do you think is the big incentive to join the Democratic Socialists, who are neither Democratic nor really socialist?
Nor really socialist. Well, obviously this comes from the defeat of Bernie Sanders in the primary, Democratic primary, and so many young people, young Democrats, were very unhappy with Hillary Clinton, were not enthusiastic. And then, of course, this pendulum swing after Donald Trump was elected. You know, people feeling, like they wanted to do something to stay sane, which is a little bit of an exaggeration. But what is frightening to me as a millennial, as a young person, you see a lot of young people view socialism very favorably.
Yeah.
So even if they're not card-carrying Democratic Socialist members, they do think that this is okay, that this is potentially economically feasible.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is terrifying considering they're going to be the leaders in 20
you're right.
years.
They're sympathetic to the cause. They haven't seen the real fallout from socialism or communism. But you think that these Democratic Socialists are actually more sane than actual Democrats.
Yeah, they're consistent in their ideology.
Yeah.
Like Eugene V. Debs in 1912 was put in, during Woodrow Wilson's presidency, was put in jail because he was anti-war. They're very anti-corporate, and they view war and corporatism as hand in hand, and being at war is the worst thing any government can do. But 19,000 Democratic Socialists isn't the problem. It's the close to 3 million federal employees that are all Democratic Socialists that are the real problem. We got to get that number down. You can join whatever dumb club you want.
Yeah, no, we're paying for those people. I think that's what drives me crazy. We had this conversation last night. Jonathan Hoda wants to liberate federal employees, so they're not under those shackles anymore. So is this all about Bernie? More Bernie?
It's a lot of it is about Bernie. But first of all, look, as you said, it tripled to 19,000, which is not even a sellout of a Knicks game. So let's let's hold off on the champagne.
Yeah, Knicks sold out a long time ago when they brought Phil
that's
Jackson
a fair
back.
point. But yeah, look, I think this is great. I prefer, as Michael was saying, I prefer my Democrats to be Bernie Sanders, more Bernie Sanders, less Hillary Clinton, less Andrew Cuomo or whatever shill they're going to put up next.
Yeah.
For one thing, the grassroots DSA people I know are much better on civil liberties. They're much better, as Michael pointed out, on foreign policy issues. And they generally they honestly seem like better people than the political hacks that are usually associated with the Clintonistas and people like that. I will take, there's this popular podcast now, the Chapo Trap House. I will take those people over the Nearitanians of the world any day of the week. And it's not even close.
No, because the Nearitanians are very disingenuous.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're people who are just trying to concentrate power and fool dumb people into continuing to vote for them and giving their money.
Yeah. Well, the difficult thing, though, here is that this is getting a lot of attention, but as you see the very loud groups, right, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, so to speak. So you've got the Democratic Socialists and the Bernie folks pushing these parties further to the left. You've got hardline Tea Party conservatives pushing the Republicans further to the right. But most Americans are in the middle, right?
Yeah.
We live in a center-right country.
That means most Americans have no principles.
But this is why. No, it's not that they have no principles. It's that they're not political hacks and political junkies like the four of us sitting at this table. They have lives to live. They have jobs to do. They have families to raise. So they're not like every day, what is my political identity?
Why is
they're living their lives.
It doesn't matter.
But I honestly
Of
think...
course it matters.
I honestly think
they're not informed.
But they're taxpayers.
Well,
they're paying taxes in this country.
We should eliminate taxes.
But they don't have time to sit there and study political textbooks and raise
but they
their
don't
families
have
and
to.
contribute to the
They don't
economy.
have. But hang on. They don't have to. And to me, the same thing is fueling both the Tea Party and the Trumpists and the Democratic Socialists. It's all being fueled by crony capitalism. That's all we look at today. Is we see all these deals being cut and the feeling.
I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think there's so much crony capitalism.
Hang on, let me finish. It's the feeling most people have that the game is rigged, that the system is rigged, and they are not one of the riggers. They are
rigged.
They are being rigged.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is
yeah.
crony capitalism not a problem
All
in
the
Washington?
intellectual momentum right now in politics is through groups like the alt-right, and it's groups like the Democratic Socialists.
All right,
and
it's not intellectual. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I
That
can
may
give you a reading
disagree
list.
with them.
And in fact, I'm writing a book about it. So they're very heavily informed in history. Pat Buchanan, Ann Coulter, people like that. So this is where the intellectual momentum is coming from, and it's the crony capitalists who are kind of running the show in Washington, who are their enemy.
Yeah.
For both sides.
That's what I'm saying.
That's exactly what he just said.
Right, but I don't think that's where the intellectual momentum is. I think this is all a rearguard action.
I think you're. I'm saying crony capitalism is what's fueling all of this.
But
He's saying it's fueling a movement on many different fronts.
Right.
Although these groups are disparate and appear to disagree with each other, they're actually fighting against the same thing, which is
Correct.
crony
Yeah, I agree with
capitalism.
that. Yes.
Okay, very good. Woo! It's getting hot in here for all the wrong reasons. It's like sitting in the sauna when you're having a hot flash. I can see the panel a little bit later, but first up, remember when Democrats were up in arms every time Republicans threatened to shut down the government during the Obama years? Well, take a wild guess what their Senate leader is contemplating to fight President Trump's agenda. Yeah. Look at those glasses. So sexy. That's next.
It's good to see you go. It's good to see you. Thank you. Yes.
Love him back. Welcome back. Another day, another college doing something ridiculous in the name of our precious millennial snowflakes. This time, we're taking it up north to Ottawa's Carleton University. I don't know if it's Carleton or Carleton. Sorry, Ottawans. Love you. What? Carleton? Okay. Like the dance? Where administrators have reportedly removed a scale from the school's gym because the university fears students will obsess over their weight. While some students are said to be outraged, others say they're really happy about the move because, quote, scales are triggering. And people who don't understand that are insensitive. The party panel is back. Kirsten Hegland, Michael Malice, and Andy Levy. You know, Kirsten, body issues and eating disorders, a very, very serious set of concerns, not just for young people. And I understand that the university wants to be responsible and doesn't want to foster an environment. But my God, people can't even be confronted with a scale in a gym. Really?
Right. Well, there's two elements of this, and you're totally right. Eating disorders are not something to joke about. At the same time, part of recovery from an eating disorder is saying, okay, there are tons of triggering things out in the world. How do you, as a person, be able to go out into the world and be able to handle that and not break down at every sign of a scale or an advertisement of a model? You know, that's part of it. Second of all, though, what I do agree with, I don't agree with the triggering notion, but we have to realize that the diet industry has been playing us and made billions of dollars off making people feel that weight equals health, right? And that is just not true. And even a consensus of medical professionals say this now too. But so long as they can continue to make people feel bad about their weight and not take a more holistic view of health, people will buy diet products, spend billions of dollars feeling bad about themselves, which fail, and then we all get obese.
Yeah.
So
should still have scales though. How do you feel about this?
I have a full-blown eating disorder. Whenever
Still,
I say that,
like
everyone
actively
laughs.
to this
day.
day?
100%.
Okay.
So I know I'm never going to not have it, so at least I could get very, very fit. But the scale is just one metric of this. There's all sorts of things that go into this, and there's lots of numbers to obsess over and obsessing over food. So again, the problem.
What triggers you?
Oh, I use it I'm comfortable with it. So we have the symbiosis. So like I like being confronted with food I shouldn't be eating and being able to look at it and not eat it, which is
Overcoming it. Interesting.
Which is how eating disordered people think, and I'm fine with that because it works for me. I'm down to 25-inch waist. So as long as I look good. But the thing is that's funny is eating disorders and body issues among men, as Kirsten knows very well, have gone through the roof. And because so much of our politics and our sociology is based on women and female concerns, these are really swept on the rug, and no one knows how to reconcile them.
That's a really, really interesting point. Andy, last word.
I don't like that the gym has weights because there are people who can lift more than me, and that makes me feel bad about myself.
That is triggering.
Also, why are you you don't need to check your weight at the gym. Buy a damn scale. They're really cheap. Throw it in the bathroom.
I don't know,
You're
man.
fine.
Sometimes it's fun to go before and after, and when you work out for 4 hours and then sweat in the sauna for 45 minutes, you can really change that.
You might have a different problem.
I don't think
4
you do.
hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the recommended amount of exercise they said that obese people need in order to stay healthy.
4 hours? Oh,
Yeah.
No, that was the housework and the walking around
Whatever.
stuff.
You know, you do it on the elliptical or gardening, same thing. Do you consider yourself a nice person? Well, you're not. Researchers in the UK found a whopping 98% of people who think they're just big old rays of sunshine. Well, actually, when asked if they perform basic acts of human decency, like giving blood or helping an old lady across the street, large percentages of them said no. So do we think we're a lot nicer than we actually are? Michael, you are just a little sweetheart lamb of God.
I am. I'm proud of America. Now, there's someone at this very network who I'll call Andrew, who carries themselves like America's boyfriend, but meanwhile, they tell everyone what they got wrong and what they missed. I've been told that everything I've said in that segment was insane. I've been told in the green room that I should have been smothered in the crib. And I've had about enough of Judge Napolitano and his attitude and how he talks down to people. And I'm going to give him a piece of my mind next time I see him.
But he touches you while he says it,
Yeah.
and he makes you feel good
Now,
about yourself.
you are genuinely a nice person. What do you think of this survey? Do you
Thank you.
consider yourself? You're so welcome, Andy.
Finally.
Obviously, Kirsten just trying to hijack our
Right?
conversation.
Yeah.
That's not very
I mean,
nice.
you are genuinely
Wow.
nice.
Ego much?
All right, and scene.
Do you consider yourself to be a nice person?
I consider myself to be a work in progress.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the moment that you say, I'm a nice person, kind of proves you're not a nice person. Like,
Yeah.
I am so humble, right? But part of this, I think,
Although
contributes to the-
humility is one of my best attributes. I will
It
say that
is.
to your point.
I will concur with that. No, but the funny thing is
Agree to
like,
disagree.
yeah, kindness is kindness when you're nice to people who are nice to you. Like
Yeah.
that's not actual kindness. Kindness is when people
Do you
are
help
rude to
old
you on
ladies
street
across
in
the
New
street
York,
and give blood?
and you're nice.
Yes, at the same time. Often. Is that not how you're
I know
supposed
if
to
New
do
Yorkers
it?
really appreciate that.
I do think most people are not as nice as they think. I think it's basically true for most people except me.
Yeah.
I think that is the case.
Yeah.
But they also, like, this study's kind of weird.
You
They say-
violate all the rules.
I really do. I'm a rule jumper.
Yeah.
They say that dealing with rude people can make you less nice.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Unbelievable.
Andy, Michael, and Kirsten, thank
I've
you guys
had it
so
with
much.
this.
That's it. Over it. Coming up, Cheech Marin of Cheech and Chong came by, and he was at the forefront of a big movement to legalize pot for decades, along with his partner. I'm going to ask Cheech what he thinks of Attorney General Jeff Sessions and his efforts to turn back the clock on the drug war. That is next.